Okay, we need to talk. I do not understand what is going on at this point. I really don't. I struggle to even fathom how something like this could even happen again. It turns out that Juice WRLD's record label is at it again. They're continuing their descent down the popularity criteria even further than they already have. I did not think that it was at all possible that a record label could sink lower than the stock market, but it would seem that that's the general direction that they're going in here with this point, okay? So, a couple of minutes ago, I was on Instagram, just scrolling through Instagram, just, you know, doing what everybody does, you know, just checking up, see what everybody's doing with their lives, you know, whether you're on a holiday in Malibu, or whether you're filming your cat. I don't know, I generally hope you have fun doing it, I hope you're living the best lives you possibly can. I came across a post made by Juice WRLD's manager, Lil Bibby. It was uploaded 2 days ago, and the caption of the post read, and I quote, "I turned 32 today. The Kid Leroy's Stay, the song Stay, reached 4 billion streams. Wait for it. And The Outsiders is coming soon."
What?
You're probably sitting there wondering, what am I rambling on about, okay? If you're die-hard Juice WRLD fans, like yours truly, then you will know why I am generally baffled by this. You will understand why we as fans can tell that the label cannot be trusted with any current or future Juice WRLD project releases. For those of you who don't know why, I'm about to explain. That's what we're here to talk about today. To tell this story, we need to go all the way back to 2019, right? Throughout the year, there are multiple sources, including from Juice WRLD himself, that he's teasing an up-and-coming project. And this album's name is The Outsiders. This project was meant to release on December 2nd of 2019, on Juice WRLD's 21st birthday. You know, it was being teased all over the internet all year. It didn't come to fruition, you know, we didn't get it, right? Now, whether it was due to, like, song choice debates, or whether it was just, you know, just wanted to create alternate tracks for the vibe of the album that he was going for, I don't know. But we didn't get it on that day, right? 6 days later, unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to the amazing, talented, and just absolutely amazing artist known as Juice WRLD. And as sad as that was, it seems now for the past 6 years, his label, for whatever reason, has decided to turn his legacy to absolute dog. For whatever reason, the label decided that the best approach going forward would be to completely ignore everything that Juice had planned in the past and just go ahead and do their own ideas, basically rendering his legacy to mush. Now, I want to say, first and foremost, if an artist has passed away and they're no longer creating or going to shows or doing things like that, and they have left an indelible amount of work behind, then, you know what I mean, and you want to go your own way with that and try to do it the way that you think he would want it, that's fine. There's nothing to say you can't do that. But the way that his record label has gone about things since then, I don't think the word awful is too strong a word here. And after Juice WRLD's passing, you know, everyone probably thought, okay, what's next? You know, what's the future of his record label? What's the future of his art? What's the future of his work? What's the future of his legacy? And most of all, what is the fate of The Outsiders? Is it still being developed? Is it still being created? Is it still being edited? Is it still a thing? And you might be shocked to find out that The Outsiders, well, technically everyone was talking about it, it was never an album to begin with. I know, complete bomb drop right there, right? Well, The Outsider, it is an album, but it isn't an album, if that makes sense. It's not an album in the traditional sense. It's not being created or The track list hasn't been set yet, it hasn't been released, it's not waiting in a folder somewhere to be released. It is a concept. It is an idea for an album that Juice had planned and he had previously talked about with close members of his inner friendship circle. And that's all it is as we know so far. So to answer your question, no, The Outsiders is not a full-fledged album. It is a concept, it is an idea, but Juice was in the middle of making it before he passed. And now the label is trying to figure out how to move forward without him. How are they going to create a legacy that he can be proud of? How are they going to do this without knowing or fully understanding what Juice wanted, especially when it comes to The Outsiders? We also had a lot of questions roaming around about, well, what's next? You know, is there any up and coming projects that we should be on the lookout for? Any other songs coming out that we should be on the lookout for? These are the questions that everybody was wondering, but we didn't know at the time. Then a glimmer of hope comes up on the 24th of April 2020. On April 24th, 2020, the song Righteous released, which Juice had recorded in his home studio in LA. And I have to say, when I listened to this song, you know, it was a real, you know, punch in the heart. You know, it was a real hit in the gut. You know what I mean? The lyrics, the track, the instrumental, the words. You know, it was. Man. It hit deep, you know what I mean? Especially so soon after losing him, you know? And after that, we obviously got Come and Go. Then after that, they announced that they're releasing an album in July, and everyone starts thinking, it's The Outsiders. The long-awaited Outsiders album is here. And it wasn't. It was the Legends Never Die album. Now, all credit to where credit is due here. I admit, while I was expecting The Outsiders, I was pleasantly surprised with the Legends Never Die album, because, you know, it was a very fitting way to send Juice Wrld off on his way. It was a great way to pay tribute to him. Now obviously at this point the label's going off by their gut feeling and trying to create content and trying to put out music and create projects that they think that Juice would want in a way that kind of similar to the way he would do it, right? Then comes 2021. And oh boy, do things take a nosedive for there. In 2021 we got an announcement that a new album would be coming, and everyone started thinking it was The Outsiders, right? As you would, because it was the album that he was working on right up until he passed away. So we were all thinking it was The Outsiders, right? Psych! Then the label announced that they were releasing The Party Never Ends, and we were a little taken aback by that, because we're like, oh, we were expecting The Outsiders, but it's not The Outsiders, or what's the deal here? What can we expect? And they were obviously trying to create that's what I'm getting for this, so that they're trying to do it in different stages, right? So the Legends Never Die was paying tribute, saying goodbye, so that's your, you know, that's your grieving stage for losing one of your idols. And then the Party Never Ends album, I'd imagine that they were kind of going for, that's a celebration of his life, you know, that they were putting a lot of hype songs in there where, oh, we're sad he's gone, but we've had a full year to grieve, so why not give us something that we can celebrate him with? Well, in my opinion anyway. I don't know if that's what they were doing, I don't know if that's the way they were going with it, but that's what I'm getting from this, right? However, this is where things really started to take a nosedive. And I say this because, you know, while we did get the Juice Wrld Into the Abyss documentary, which was just a piece of art, in my opinion. I loved it. I love the Into the Abyss documentary. I watch it on HBO Max all the time. And just watching it, it made it clear that you were watching less of Juice Wrld and more about Jared Anthony Higgins, you know? It was kind of like a look into his deeper circle, into his inner circle, you know? It was trying to get you to look at Juice Wrld not as Juice Wrld, but as the man behind the mic, which is obviously Jared Anthony Higgins, right? But with the documentary, as good as the documentary was, we were expecting to get The Party Never Ends next. We did get an album, but what we got instead of The Party Never Ends, or The Outsiders, was the Fighting Demons album. Now, I want to just put this out there. Major fan of Juice Wrld, major fan of his work, but not the biggest fan of the Fighting Demons album. It's fine if you like it. If you guys like it, or you listen to it every day, or, you know, But to me, like, it, you know, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. It definitely wasn't the worst. But it wasn't the best. It was sort of in the middle. It was okay. You know, it's not the best, but it was okay. So we're thinking, okay, they're kind of putting that out there, trying to set us up for The Party Never Ends, because then they're saying, oh, The Party Never Ends is coming next year, and we're expecting it to come in 2022, so we just need to trust them, right? After they released the Fighting Demons album, we think, well, where are we going to go from here? What's next? Now here's where things really start to get a bit weird and a bit tricky to understand, right? Now obviously when they released the deluxe edition, we got Cigarettes and we got Sometimes. I'll give credit to where credit is due here, you know, they did give us Sometimes, which is an amazing song, and it's even included in the Into the Abyss documentary. It shows the studio session of just recording the song, and it's an amazing song, an amazing listen. Go check it out, highly recommend it. But then if you scroll further down the track list, you will come to the end of it, and you will see two songs, and you'll probably think to yourself, I recognise those titles, I've seen these somewhere before. Where do you think you've seen it before? For those of you who are genuinely confused, the two songs at the bottom are Legends and Rich and Blind. Now, Legends and Rich and Blind are two songs that were put into a 2-track EP as a tribute to XXXTentacion and Lil Peep. And they were released in 2018. Oh, but it gets better. Because not only did they put two pre-existing tracks into a brand new album, but the two songs, Legends and Rich and Blind, when they were added to the deluxe edition, they took the attention completely away from every other song on the album, and they are now the most popular songs on the album. The album comes out in 2021, they have a whole bunch of songs, all of them are okay. Then the deluxe edition comes out just a few months later, and we get a brand new song, and then we get 2 extra songs put in there, and the 2 extra songs are actually 2 pre-releases from 3 years ago, and those 2 pre-releases are now doing 10 times better than the entire album. But if you're still not convinced to not trust the label with any present or future Juice Wrld releases, this might just get you. Remember the Party Never Ends album, right? Well, let's dive into that then. So The Party Never Ends was meant to be released in 2021. Apparently. When it didn't get released, many people felt they were punched in the face. Not literally, by the way. People felt cheated, they felt lied to, they started thinking, can we really trust the label? And then they started trying to ease everyone's tensions by saying, oh, the album's coming out on this day, and that day, and this date, and those dates. And everyone started getting their hopes up, thinking that, oh, The Party Never Ends is coming soon, we can't wait, maybe it'll come in the summer. Not quite. They teased it like hell in 2022. It never came out in 2022. Released many more statements claiming that it would be coming out in 2023, and it never happened. Well, most people were hoping that they would be able to listen to The Party Never Ends at a beach party. It didn't come out at the right time, because The Party Never Ends was officially released on November 29th of 2024. This entire journey for an album and just people's expectations completely baffled and wasted on one album. You know, people are sitting there thinking, oh, you promised us an album. That was 2 years ago. And then they're starting to think, as the time goes on, they're starting to think to themselves, maybe it's never actually coming out, you know? Maybe there is no album. I went on Instagram and saw tons of people saying that there is no album, that it's all just a marketing ploy. But eventually those claims were put to bed when the album eventually did release 3 years after its initial announcement, and now we find ourselves here. We're getting occasional tracks, every now and again, that's fine, but now Lil Baby is apparently announcing that Juice Wrld's long-awaited album that he was recording up until the moment that he passed is coming out now, 7 years after he passed. And even if everything that we've just discussed wasn't enough to convince you, maybe this will. Obviously Juice had a variety of different songs that he was hoping to include in the album, but now he unfortunately isn't able to do that, and it's not for the obvious reason. More rather so that a lot of those songs cannot be put on the album because they already exist on other projects. See, while an official track list was never released or confirmed for the songs that were going to be included on The Outsiders, we can take a wild guess as to which ones were most likely going to be on the album, right? For example, Juice Wrld's song Way Too Many, which was previewed in the Into the Abyss documentary, was going to be the intro track for the album.
Apparently there's also been claims and debates that his song Burn was going to be put on the album as well, but that unfortunately can't happen because it is on the Fighting Demons album. There were also claims of other songs like Murder Rate, Carry It, Die to Live, Drugs Are My Friends, songs like that, right? But we do not have an official track release, therefore we don't actually know what songs that Juice officially wanted on the album. But the bigger issue is that most of the songs that Juice wanted on the album are now under different names and used for different projects. For example, songs like Tell Me You Love Me, Blood on My Jeans, Come and Go and Righteous can't be on the album because they're already on the Legends Never Die album. The songs include Burn, Rockstar in His Prime, Sometimes, From My Window and The Light, but unfortunately we can't do those songs either because they're all on the Fighting Demons album, with The Light also having its own single release. And that means only one thing, since most of the songs that were most likely going to be on the album are already on other projects, like Pills in the Regal is on the Party Never Ends album. Now we find ourselves in a situation where most of the songs that Juice Wrld most likely wanted on the original version of the Outsiders album are now being used on other projects. That only means one thing. The label are now going to have to figure out a way to put other songs and try and fit the vibe that everyone is hoping for and expecting without knowing exactly what Juice was intending to do with the album, which is most likely isn't going to work because we all know we can't trust the label with their reputation over the last 5.5 years. When they took the complete mickey with the Party Never Ends album, the way they completely messed us up with the Fighting Demons Deluxe Edition, when they added 2 more songs on there that pretty much devours the entire album as a project. And of course they have done this before, and that's another possibility that scares me. They could honestly think to themselves, well, this time instead of creating a brand new album and having 2 pre-existing tracks that completely overlaps the popularity of the entire album as a project, why not create an entirely new album and put on tons of pre-existing songs from other projects so it makes it look like we're copying the original concept idea. And everyone would be confused because apparently we're all idiots and they'll get the platinum gratification. Good idea, good luck with that. I honestly, truly baffles me that with Juice Wrld not being here to be able to construct into words or actions or anything to let you know what he wants on the album. You know, you're basically swinging blind at this point, you know what I mean? And even so, you know, it's probably best we just leave things the way they are. Everyone's satisfied, everyone has Juice Wrld songs that they can access at any point, at any time. I mean, as far as everybody knew at the time, The Outsiders wasn't even an album, and it most likely never will be an album, you know. His fiancée going onto Twitter saying that it's not an album, it's a concept that her and Juice discussed together. And apparently she has the original track list that her and Juice discussed together on her phone. Chris Long, Juice Wrld's photographer and videographer, went on Instagram Live. Basically he said that he doesn't think that the Outsiders album will ever come out because Juice Wrld wasn't here to make it, and therefore nobody knows how to go forward because no one knows what he wants or how he would want it. And I think that's a perfectly valid excuse. That's a perfectly valid reason to say, look, The Outsiders would have been a great idea, but the problem is that the guy who had the idea isn't here to do it or bring it to fruition, and therefore we should just leave things the way they are. No, but evidently that's not good enough for them, so they need to completely go down the popularity criteria even further and try and tarnish his reputation and legacy even more by trying to rip off ideas that he had 7 years ago but was never able to bring to fruition because he passed away. And I bet you any money that they'll most likely stick to Juice Wrld's original idea of bringing it out on his birthday. He wanted to bring it out on his birthday, which was December 2nd of 2019. That would be his 21st birthday. It didn't come out on his 21st birthday. So they're probably going to try and stick to the original idea and bring it out on what would have been Juice Wrld's 28th birthday on December 2nd of this year. I bet you any money that that's what they're going to try and do. If it does come out on December the 2nd of this year, I am going to laugh and I'm going to say, I told you so. Anyway, I'm done ranting. I
I need a smoke. I need to get high or something like that, because oh my god. My brain is literally fried with Juice Wrld's label at this point, okay? I am sorry. It's just beyond baffling to me at this point, okay? By the way, I don't just rant, I also make music. Speaking of which, I also have a new song coming out tomorrow. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. You can just click my channel icon, whether it's here, or here, or here, or here. I don't know where it is, it'll be here somewhere, okay? You can go check that out. You can also go check out some of my other content, like my other music and things like that. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And please, in the comments, and your honest opinions, tell me what you think of this whole situation, okay? Please do. Please be honest. Be brutally honest. It's your opinion. I have to be honest. See, if they do release the Outsiders album, obviously I'll listen to it. Obviously I'm going to go and listen to it because it's Juice Wrld, and you know, everybody loves Juice Wrld. Everybody. Let's be honest. I haven't met one person that doesn't like Juice Wrld. Even a little bit. Anyway guys, enjoy the rest of your guys' day. I love you guys so much, and have a great day, Outlaws. Bye.
I've been staring at the city lights way too long. Neon dreams, but they feel all wrong.